Good morning and welcome back to another video from the off-grid garage here. And this morning we are off-grid. We are totally disconnected, we are isolated, we've got no power. Let me show you the situation. Buck inverter running, Raspberry running, solar charge controllers flashing. Yeah, off, no power. So last night, about midnight, the battery was down to 17% and I left it there. And I do some experimenting with some other equipment at the moment here. So I knew something would happen in the morning. Here, low battery warnings, heaps of warnings in here. The good thing is the Raspberry is still working, has connected to the house Wi-Fi on top of the roof. And it is still working. Even we've got no power, the inverter has turned off because of low voltage, but the Raspberry is still working. And you can still see what is going on. So we are now down to 12.3 volts, which is 4907. And I checked this morning at about 7 o'clock already, and I turned off both solar charge controllers because I wanted to keep the battery in this state. I want to do some testing. And you can see the inverter has turned off and we've got only 5 watts on DC power. Potentially this is the 100 milliamps we are getting out here at the moment. I think this is our buck converter which supplies power to the Raspberry. So these are the 5 watts we have when everything else is disconnected. And let me show you this screenshot here from this morning. This was at... So this is how the BMS was looking like this morning. Cell number 6, 2.807. And I think the highest one I could see was cell number 2. Oh no, cell number 3 here. Yeah, everything else is lower. Relative 1, 2, 3. What's wrong with these birds here this morning? Toby, nice. Shh, shh, shh. He does a good job. Okay, let's go in the BMS and have a live view what we are at. Connecting to the BMS. Yeah, pretty much the same. Cell number 6, 2.81, 49.1 volt we have in the battery, which would be 3068. You can hardly see that, huh? Yeah, 3068 if everything would be balanced. Well, we are already now in the deeper curve area of the curve now. I mean, 2.8 is not terrible low. And I have configured the BMS to turn off if one cell hits 2.65. And this is what the BMS should do. It should be your safety net. It should be your last resort if everything else goes wrong. There's no solar coming in, the inverter has turned off, but we are still having load on the battery for the Raspberry, for example, and it gets discharged now. If cell number 6 hits 2.65 volt, the BMS will shut down the whole battery, prevent over discharging one of the cells. And this is 6 watts. This is what we have seen just in the VRM portal as well. 120, 130 milliamps. And the smart shunt now tells me it can do this for another 10 days. Yeah. So it can supply 6 watts for 10 days until we reach 280 ampere hours. Or we hit the super low voltage disconnect. 10 days! I mean, this is crazy, right? You wouldn't leave your system alone for 10 days if you know there's an under voltage situation, right? So I wonder what would happen if we would connect the 16S balancer now to this battery and leave the charge controller off for a moment. Just connect the balancer and see what it does over time with this situation here. I think this would be a very interesting test. Well then, open fire! Okay, then let's connect our balance cables to our battery. This may take a while. This didn't take long, right? Well, just for you. Sorry for the bad lighting here in this corner, but I really hesitate to open the garage door here because it is so cold outside. The wind is so freezing cold. We've got under 15 degrees this morning. Freezing. Okay, so we have now, that looks like these are all the balance leads connected. Okay, let me double check. Okay, this all looks very good, but let me triple check. Glad I checked again. Well, this is a bit strange. Here on the diagram, this is my first cell here, B1. And the most negative, see this line at the bottom here, goes to the bottom pin or bottom port of the BMS, which is this one here. But this is my battery number 8. And when I look on the writing here, it says B- is on the left. It is over there, and this is my B8. So this fits with the cabling, but it doesn't fit with the diagram. I'm not sure if this one is correct here actually. Yeah, and here it says B16 is at the bottom, but here is B16 is at the top. So it looks like this one is just mirrored like this. Don't think this is correct. Be careful. Well, I would go with the printing on the board here. This has worked with the 4S BMS we have tested before. There was no issue, and this was matching. So I probably go with that as it is now. So when I plug in the cable here, the black one is our most negative port of the battery, and this goes to the B0 here at the top, which matches the printing on the circuit board. That is stupid. Okay, so I'm not sure what will happen now because well, I had 2 scare moments again when I connected the balance leads, because the stupid BMS turned off and the relay is so loud when this one opens. It is super loud. The relay is open at the moment. The smart shunt is without power. It has disconnected everything, and I've turned off the main switch as well. So I've just got the battery here and the BMS at the moment. And well, when you connect something and something else turns on or off, that is 1.5 years of your life. I will just have the balancer sitting here on this foam, so we can connect the balance leads on this side and on this side. I don't know if it makes a difference which side you connect first, but I'll do the main one with the 9 cables connected first. This is our B0, so let's see what happens. Oh god. Well, it turns on, and I connect the other side as well. You could see there was a bit of sparkling going on. You could hear a high-pitched noise here coming from the BMS. Alright, let's go in here and see what happens. Okay, this is our live feed of the battery now. I mean, the overall voltage will of course not increase anymore, because we are not adding any power to the battery. Just the balancing should be a little bit better over time. I probably leave the mobile phone here on the time lapse and see what's going on. And then I can see the voltage already rising on 2.8. Yeah, 12. Number 6. Where's my number 6 here? Number 6. Of course. Okay, number 6 is this cable here. And let me turn on the light here and see if there's any power coming in. 450 milliamps only for cell number 6. Okay, let's leave the time lapse running here. See what happens over time. If you can see any improvement. I can see the voltage is rising in cell number 6 by 10 millivolt already. Okay, it's 10 o'clock now. Let's go inside and have breakfast. Okay, apparently the recording has stopped now on the mobile phone here. Yeah, so this is 1.5 hours later, and we are now at 210 millivolt deviation, and number 6 has almost reached 2.95 volts now. Yeah, so this looks a lot more balanced now. In fact, we've got only 2 cells under 3 volts. That is pretty good. Okay, we keep this running here for a while and check back in later. I'm really missing out on this amazing solar weather today. It is nice, cold and windy and sunny. The strange part is that our voltage has risen to now 49.4 volts. See, this is the screenshot from this morning, and we were on 49.2 volts. And all the charge controllers, everything is disconnected from the battery. Why has the overall voltage risen? This can only be a recovery voltage because the cell is not connected to anything. There's no load on it anymore at all, and voltage is slowly rising. I think we call it now. It is 12 o'clock. I want to turn on the charge controllers again and get some energy in this battery. I expect we have this similar situation tomorrow morning again, because I cannot recharge that much which I actually need, and the battery will discharge overnight again and turn off with the same situation again tomorrow morning, and then we will see how much deviation we have tomorrow. I leave the balancer connected over the day so it can still do its work, and let's see if this makes actually a difference at this low state of charge of the battery. It should, because this is now the time to do it, to balance either at the low voltage or at the high voltage. This is where the balancer is most effective. Yeah, this one is still off. We haven't reached 50.5 volts or something, what the recovery voltage is of the inverter. I know why the inverter didn't start up. The BMS is still turned off. Yeah, see, the discharge is still off. I have to turn this on. Hello? Setting success, but cell under voltage protection is still on. The under voltage release is set to 3 volts. Under voltage release, this can be at 2.8, I would say. Okay, and anything else? Under voltage release is 48 for the whole pack. 2.65 is my under voltage, then it turns off, and 2.8 it turns on again. Okay, and now it's turned on again automatically. Alright, we now should be able to pre-charge our inverter again. Oh yeah, there it comes. Yeah, well, unfortunately I have done it the wrong way. I should have put the smart shunt as the first device and then afterwards the BMS. There was this decision to be made many moons and videos ago, and I have decided to put the BMS first and then the smart shunt. The other way around would be better, because now we don't have the state of charge anymore of the smart shunt. Going into the history, you can see it still has all the settings in it, even if it was turned off for 2 hours now. So the smart shunt does not lose any information if you power it off. Okay, synchronize. That sets it to 100%. And then you can go in here and tell it, well, we are on 12 only. That's where we were before. So we should be back on 12 amps. We're discharging with 6 amps for the outside light. And now we go back into the solar charge controllers. They are eagerly waiting to deliver power. Okay. And enable charger. Yes. There's still shading on there. Okay, let's turn on west roof. Enable charger. Status 105 volts on here. 750 watts. Okay, this should recharge the battery quickly now. Yeah, charging with 13 amps. And the balancer is still doing its thing now. But when we get out of this lower part of the curve now into the flat part, the cell voltages will come together again anyway. So There's not too much work for the balancer then afterwards, but tomorrow morning. And the Victron system also sends you an email that the low voltage alarm has now cleared and the inverter is back online. It's such a good system. I like it. You've got the information on the VRM website, and it also sends you an email, and if you are in Bluetooth range, it also alerts you on the app. Man, they thought about everything. Okay, it has been now 12 hours since it's 9:30. It's about 12 hours ago since we installed the balancer in our battery bank. I want to show you again. Let me start screen recording here. Yes, the camera is standing on this bed again. Of course it does. Here's the photo, here's the screenshot from this morning, 7:21. This was the first time I looked at the battery this morning from the house. The Bluetooth signal actually reaches from the garage to the house inside. It is insane. There's one spot inside the house where I can see the BMS without going to the garage. That's like 25, 30 meters easy. Through the metal roller doors of the garage and the brick wall inside the house and all the other obstacles in between. And you can see the differences between the cells. Well, it looked very unbalanced. We had a 380 millivolt deviation across all the different cells. And then we installed the balancer at 9:30, around 9:30 it was, yeah. And I'll show you here how the battery looks like now 12 hours later. And we are at 49 volt again. So we are back to 12% state of charge. And the battery voltage is even a bit lower, but look at the deviation, 86 millivolts only at 49 volts. Isn't that insane what the balancer did within 12 hours? I can't believe it. Look how balanced this pack is. Number 6 is still our lowest cell, but I mean, you know, high capacity cells, it takes a while to balance them. That is quite remarkable. I would never have expected that within such a short amount of time, that the battery would be balanced like this. That is crazy. I'm just starting the VRM portal here. I just want to show you something here. So that was the maximum we charged the battery to today, 17%. So we started in the morning. See, there's a gap where we had the battery turned off. 12%. Yeah, this was at 7 o'clock in the morning. That was the lowest. That was the lowest state of charge. And here it turned off the load actually. That was at 7 o'clock here. So that was very close to the first screenshot I took. 12% state of charge, which we are back right now here, 12.2%. And then at noon I stopped the testing with the balancer and turned on the solar charge controllers. They kicked in and charged the battery up to 17% at about 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the sun went down. And there's no solar production anymore after 5 p.m. basically. Well, and then we had some load during the evening. Now it is 9:40, and the battery went down now to exactly the same point as this morning. And it is remarkable that we started with this cell deviation in the morning, and 12 hours later, it really looks like this. So, well, the next step would be to see what is happening tomorrow morning, because I won't recharge the battery now. I leave it as it is. The inverter will turn off at some stage because the battery gets lower and lower. And I think at 48 volts, the inverter will shut down. Well, there's actually no load inside the garage, which we need, because the Raspberry will just connect to the house Wi-Fi on top of the house from inside the metal box through the metal garage door to the access point on top of the house. And tomorrow morning we will see what the deviation does then. That is insane. I'm I'm impressed. I'm surprised. I'm speechless. No, I'm not. I'm never speechless. But this is quite good. Slowly, I can understand why people use balances. It makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, peeps, I wish you a good night, and we should see us again tomorrow morning then, early morning, not too early, to have a look what's going on here. And I will calibrate a SPAT now, just to make sure we have enough in stock when the sun is coming back. We need to put more solar on top of the roof here. All right, enough rambling. See you tomorrow. Oh, well guys, we did it again. The battery is down to 48.4 volts again. That's the third time now since we have installed the balancer. And this morning, everything was dead here in the garage again because the inverter turned off at 48 volts, which is a 3 volt cell voltage. BMS was still operational, but everything else was turned off, as it should be. And here, having a quick look, we are apparently at 12.3%. Here, I need to show you this one here. This was from last night, 1:26 a.m. Because I was busy editing videos for you. And I couldn't help myself. I needed to take a screenshot of this one here. So we had 60 millivolt deviation then, again at 48.2 volts. That was very close to the shut off of the inverter during the night. And we can see cell number 6 was under 3 volts, cell number 8, and cell number 16. I don't know. And cell number 16 here. All the other ones are above 3 volts. And yeah, 60 millivolt was not too bad. Look at all these equalized cells here. Nice. Well, and then this morning at 10 to 7, couldn't help myself again. I needed to look at the BMS to see what's going on. 47.9 volt it claims. And we had, ta-da, deviation of 25 millivolt on it. Is that good shit? Well, and this was now less than 24 hours after we have installed the balancer on our battery here. And before we had like 350 millivolt of deviation across all the cells, and now 25 only. Okay, another 12 hours later now, let's have a look at the BMS now. And we are at 48.4 volts and the deviation is 11 millivolt. Look at this, 10 to 11 millivolts only. So the balancer really gets better and better and better, and all the cells are balanced. So it works fantastically well. I am impressed. I mean, people have told me to get a balancer for months since I started this YouTube channel. Even before I started with this YouTube channel, random people while shopping told me, Andy, get a balancer. You need to get a balancer, definitely. If you get a battery, get a balancer. Now I said, no, maybe not. Maybe I get one for testing. Well, that's what we are doing at the moment. We are testing things, you know. But really, guys, I think I like it. I really like it, really. This is good shit, really. Well, I know my good old friend Will Prose said, well, don't waste your money on a balancer. Especially not for new battery cells. It's not worth the money. Balance them and they should be fine. And the rest is been done by the BMS. And well, I thought, yeah, well, he's right. Yeah, that's... Have a look at this cost here. I mean, you're paying around 2,500 Australian dollars for the battery. Yeah, that's the major part of your system, the battery. And then you're paying another $250, $300 for a BMS. And the balancer costs $66. $66. This is less than one battery cell. So I'm totally blown away with this result. I mean, this is ridiculous, really. And it gets only better from here, better and better. And we had 48.4 volts. So this is like, we are now entering the bottom knee of the curve. You know, this is, the battery is discharged. Yeah, the inverter will turn off at 48 volt. And I'll leave it like this because I'm doing some testing at the moment with some other equipment connected to the battery. That's why my battery is always low in the evening already. Okay, see, well, I really hate to say it, but balancer is pretty good. It works pretty well. And you should probably get one. I mean, $66 Australian, including shipping from China. And it took me half an hour to put it on the battery. Well, in the next big test in one of the videos in the future will be how is the balancer performing at the upper level of the curve, in the upper knee of the curve, you know, when the battery is charged, when the cells are all coming to 3.4, 3.45, 3.5 volts and everything. What is the balancer doing then? Because this is when it needs to catch the cells which are going through the roof. Otherwise, well, the BMS is not capable of holding them back from overcharging. And we are getting into some shitty cell overcharging situation then. And everything in the off-grid garage goes offline here then. So I'm really keen to see what the balancer does in the upper part. Because here it's fairly easy because, well, everything is turned off. There's no load on the battery anymore. It doesn't get discharged any further, and it has all the time in the world to balance these cells now. Well, I guess we will find out in one of the future videos here in the off-grid garage in Australia, not Austria, Australia. The verdict is I'm convinced a balancer is a good thing. Even with new battery cells, you don't need to worry about anything. Look how imbalanced my batteries were just yesterday morning. And now, after 1.5 days, 10 millivolt deviation from 358 or whatever it was. Insane. Why wouldn't you get one for $66? If you want to go ahead and test one yourself, just for testing purposes, test one yourself. There's a link down in the description, which leads to my website, and there's a coupon code for AliExpress. It gives you a couple of dollars. I think someone said about $2 or something. Well, this is quite disappointing actually, but this is what the shop gave me. I said, well, I'll make a video, and if you make a discount code or something, I'm happy to put this on my website. It saves you another $2. It's for the shipping, basically. Well, just for testing purposes, right? Just for testing, but it's good. It's good. I like it. Alright guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support here on the channel. Thanks for all your beer donations. Thanks for using my Tesla referral code. Actually, I just want to say a big thank you to Jesse and Mike, who have ordered a Tesla using my referral code. Man, what legends. Thank you so much for using my code, and all the best with your new Tesla. Thank you. Stay charged and safe, and we will see us again in one of the next videos coming here on the channel from the Off-Grid Garage in Australia. Okay guys, thanks for watching again. See you then. Bye bye. Hey guys, you won't believe it. I turned off the camera and the inverter turned off, so battery is empty.